The winter of 1942 was cruel beyond measure. The city of Winterfall, a forgotten ruin in the north, was already cold by nature. But when the war came and the siege began, the frost became something unnatural, something alive. It crept beneath doors, bled into bones, and made monsters of men. No one remembers Winterfall now. It isn't on maps. The government pretends it never existed, but Elias Volkov remembered it, right until the end. He was 19 when it happened. His voice would tremble even decades later when he tried to tell the story, not out of fear of disbelief, but because remembering meant reliving, and some things should not be pulled from the dark. Elias and his mother, Vera, lived in a crumbling apartment block near the center of Winterfall. His father had gone off to fight and never returned. It was just the two of them now, surviving on boiled wallpaper glue, melted snow, and prayers. The building had once been elegant, with tall windows and marble banisters, but by that winter it was a tomb, home only to silence, rot, and locked doors. Most tenants were gone, dead, vanished, or worse. On their floor, only one other apartment was still occupied, apartment 5. A woman named Agatha lived there. She was pale, quiet, middle-aged. No one ever saw her eat, or speak, or leave. The wind screamed at night. Elias often couldn't tell if the sounds outside were bombs, wolves, or the ghosts of people dying somewhere in the snow. But one night, something new came. A scream, not distant, not faint, close, sharp, and real. It came from upstairs. Then, silence. Then, a wet thud. Vera sat up in bed, heart racing. Elias watched her rise, grab the lantern, and whisper, "Stay here. Don't move." The hallway outside was deathly cold. Frost crackled underfoot as she crept up the winding stairs. The building moaned with every gust. Elias waited. Minutes passed, then 10, then 20. No sound, no footsteps. Then, bang, bang, bang. She pounded on the apartment door. He unbolted it, and she stumbled in, pale as snow, breath ragged. "There's something upstairs," she said, voice breaking. "Something's wrong." He helped her to the bed. Her hands were trembling violently. "I saw blood," she whispered, "and a woman, or what used to be one, eating something, raw. Her hands, they were covered in red, and her face. She didn't sleep that night. Neither did Elias. The next morning, the stairs were clean, too clean, as if someone had scrubbed them with bleach and boiling water. But no one had access to either. Vera said nothing. She just packed a bag. "We leave tomorrow." That night, Elias lay awake. He heard something dragging across the ceiling, a slow scraping sound. Then, footsteps. But they weren't regular footsteps. They were too light, almost gliding. Then, breathing, just outside the door. His mother was already awake. He could see her sitting upright in the dark. "Don't speak," she whispered. Then, the click of the doorknob turning. It rattled, once, twice. A faint voice came through the wood. "Vera, you have something warm inside you. I can smell it." They didn't move, didn't breathe. Eventually, the sound faded. They waited until dawn before opening the door. No one was there, but on the doorknob, a piece of tongue, severed, grey, frozen stiff. They tried to leave the next morning, but the front door was gone. Not locked, not blocked, gone. A brick wall now stood where the entrance had been, as if the building had sealed itself shut in the night. Vera laughed a dry, hysterical laugh. "We're buried," she said. "The building wants us." 3 more days passed. No food, no heat. The The walls felt closer each day, as though the building was shrinking. Agatha hadn't been seen since the scream, but sometimes, at night, Elias would hear her singing, a gentle lullaby. The melody was broken, like it was missing notes. Then, a knock. Always 3, always slow. He never opened. On the 4th night, Vera vanished. Elias had only gone to the hallway to fetch melted snow in a bowl. He was gone maybe 2 minutes. When he returned, the bed was empty. The lanterns still burned. Her coat was still there. There was only a streak of blood across the floorboards, leading toward the ceiling. Sorry for the interruption. If you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button below. So, let's continue the video. That was the first time Elias cried. He screamed her name until his throat bled. He pounded on the walls, tried to break through the windows. Nothing worked. The building wasn't just closed, it was sealed. He wandered the halls for hours, calling for her. He reached the top floor. The hallway up there was colder than any place he'd ever known. His breath froze in the air. His skin cracked. But he walked. At the end was apartment 5, Agatha's door. It was open. Inside, meat hooks, dozens, swinging gently. From each one, a part, a hand, a foot, a rib cage, a face. His mother's scarf was on the floor. Agatha stood in the corner. Only it wasn't Agatha anymore. Her eyes were gone. Black pits stared from her skull. Her jaw hung open wider than humanly possible. From her lips, a voice rasped, "You're the last warm thing. You can't leave. We need you." Elias turned and ran. He hid in the basement. For how long, he didn't know. Time didn't work right anymore. The light never changed. The hunger became a creature inside him, clawing, screaming, begging. Sometimes he heard Agatha above, whispering down the vents. Sometimes she sang, sometimes she laughed. That sick, wet laugh of something not quite human anymore. He ate paper, then glue, then he found a jar in the corner. No label. It was meat. He didn't ask where it came from. When soldiers finally arrived, months later, they found Elias half-mad, starving, sitting in the stairwell talking to shadows. They found no one else alive. The building was torched. No investigation, no trial, just silence. Elias survived. He never told the full story until he was old, dying. A nurse asked him gently what had happened to his mother. He just stared at the ceiling. Then he whispered, "She's still there, in the walls. She screams every night." Then, quieter. They weren't starving, you know. Agatha and the others. They weren't hungry. They were hunting. Still watching, but not subscribed. A lot of effort goes into making these videos. When you subscribe and share, it keeps me motivated to create more. So please, make sure to subscribe.